decided that I'm going to upload my deck profile on a deck that's been seeing a lot of play. I'm playing True Draco Demise, and the amount of pluses this deck does makes it a very consistent deck. Outside of playing a lot of spells and playing arguably one of the best boss monsters out in the game as a masterpiece. This deck doesn't need an extra deck because going in link summoning, you have to play link cards to help special summon monsters to generate advantage. But like I said, this deck does not need an extra deck. You can play one if you decided to. Like I said, without further ado, let's begin. Hey, what's up? This is going to be the deck profile that I'm going to be uploading. True Draco Demise. It's a very powerful deck going to link summoning. And this is your answer to Zoodiac, which is still by far the best deck in the game right now. So you can play an extra deck if you want to, but I don't play an extra deck. So because it's like Monarchs but better. So if you want to play an extra deck, you can play rank 5s, rank 6, and sometimes you could play rank 8s, but you don't have to. You can also synchro into 8 because the fact that the hand traps are tuners. So and you can use it by using a level 5 that's in here, and normal summon in the tuner, and then you could synchro into 8. But highly unlikely you're gonna make those plays. So without further ado, I'm gonna showcase the main, the side, and old school tokens, kingdom tokens. Shout out to old school Yu-Gi-Oh players who still uses these. Alright, start off with the main. With the monsters, you play 3 Masterpiece. He's arguably the boss monster of the deck and somewhat of a win condition. Being able to tribute summon using either monster or continuous spells or traps to tribute summon him, and whatever you use to tribute him is unaffected by that card type. So you could, like I said, monster spells or traps, he's unaffected by it. And plus he has a quick effect on either player's turn. You could banish a continuous spell trap in your graveyard and being able to destroy one card in the field. Being able to, for him to stick on the board every turn and destroy a card is so devastating, especially to the opponent, because the fact that you could pop any card on the field, including your own cards, to get the effects to go off is so key in this game. I play 3 of because the fact that I do play Pot of Desires, and Pot of Desires sometimes it'll banish. Maybe I've had it where it banishes 2 and I had one in the deck, or more than likely I had all of these banished and there's no way for me to recycle him back, so that's why I play 3 of. Next, you play arguably one of the best monsters in the deck, Dynamite Knight. He is a 1 tribute, can use continuous spells or traps, and plus, if an opponent activates a card or effect and you could chain to his effect, you could grab a continuous trap from the deck, either activate it on the field or add it to the hand. Being able to pull True King's Return to get your plays going is so key, and you would like to see him going first, or going second, to get your plays going is so key. So that's why I play 3 of. Next, I play 1 Majesty Maiden. It's an okay effect where you could grab a True Draco monster or True King monster if an opponent activates something, and you could just add it to the hand. Being able to search Masterpiece is an okay effect, but I don't know. I might cut her because I rarely use the effect, but this is like you're not going first. You want to use this going second. Next, I play one Ignis Heat. I would like to bump this up to 2 or 3 because it's so busted in the mirror. Being able, or you could use this going first by tributing a trap for to summon him, and then let's say if the trap goes off and then you're playing against Zoodiac, you could pop the Trident. If Trident is forced to pop a card, and then you could chain to his effect to grab Heritage. So when, let's say if by resolution of the chain, this leaves the field and whatever, and the trap that you use to tribute summon him, and you activate Heritage, you could draw up to 2 cards. And it's sort of like a pot of greed. So that's why I want to bump this up to 2 or 3. That's it for the monsters. You do play a low monster count because, like I said, you do play Card of Demise, and Card of Demise affects the hand traps because you're forced to discard at the end. So I side the hand traps if I'm, let's say if I'm if I go second or something like that. That's why you keep a low monster count. But I would cut the Majesty Maiden and bump this up to 2 or 3. Onto the spells. You arguably play the best field spell out right now, Dragonic Diagram. You want to play this at 3, but because like I said, I play Pot of Desires, and I had instances where all 3 of these got banished. But sometimes if you have more than one in the hand, this can clog because you don't want to have like 2 or 3 in the hand. It's a simple effect. All true Draco and true King monsters, they gain 300 attack and defense. And the first time a tribute summon true King or true Draco monster would be destroyed by battle each turn. It's not. So it has like a mini Stardust Spark type effect to where you would have to run it over twice in order for it to leave the field. And this is where the effect gets busted. It's a themed Fire King Island to where you could pop a card on your side of the field or on your hand to search for any true Draco or true King card from the deck. It's pretty busted. Being able to search whatever key pieces that you need makes this deck very consistent. So that's why you play 3 of, in case, like, also if more than likely they'll Ghost Ogre this or Ash Blossom this card, because the fact that it helped, they know that this is like your starter piece to get your combos to go off. Next, I play 2 Terraforming. I used to have this at 3, but sometimes I'll draw into double Terraforming, and it kind of clogs. So that's why I dropped it from 3 to 2. I'm not worried about searching for the field spell, because more than likely I always find a way for it to hard draw into the Dragonic Diagram without relying on terraforming as much. So that's why I played 2 of. Next, you play True Draco Heritage. It's sort of like your pot of greed of the deck, where during your main phase, you could draw up to the number of cards that was sent there this turn, depending on the type that's sender of a True King or True Draco card, which is monster, spell, or trap, and you draw for each type. And it has a second effect where this card gives you an additional tribute summon, and when this card leaves the field, you basically destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. So it's like you're playing MST in the deck when you use this for tribute fodder, and being able to draw helps, like I said, helps with the consistency of this deck. Next, I play 2 disciples. It's basically your Daigusto Emerald deck where you can target 3 true king or true Draco cards in your graveyard, shuffle them in the deck, and draw 1. This helps you in the grind game, where you could recycle all your resources, your spells, your traps, or any of your true Draco monsters that was sent to the graveyard. And this gives you an additional tribute summon, and when it leaves the field, it's an MST. So it stacks if you have, let's say, like these 2 in the field. This gives you each an additional normal, like, tribute summon, and then you got your 1 normal summon for the turn. Now we get into the draw engine of the deck. You play 3 card of Demise, the best draw card. Being able to unload your hand, set everything on the field, and being able to +3 is so busted. The only drawback is you can't special summon, and if you battle an opponent, any damage your opponent takes is 0. But you don't special summon in this deck other than, True King's return. And that's why I don't play an extra deck. And you only can activate this once per turn. So what I'll do is, like, I will use this as a last resort to where, let's say if I set everything, if I'm going second, attack, and then activate card of Demise. So that way, I could inflict battle damage. Next, I play 2 Desires. You only play 2 because the fact that sometimes you will pile Desires, you'll banish 10, and then all of a sudden you'll draw into another Desires. That would suck. But you want to deck. This helps deck thin as much as you can, because you do play sometimes 2 or 3 ofs, and you only need like maybe 1 or 2 to cards that have copies of. So that's why you'll play Pod Desires, and then hopes that this gets banished from Pod Desires. But if it happens to me where I Pod Desires and do Desires, this will be a diagram target where I could pop it, and then use it as fodder for diagram. Next, you play 2 Duality. Same concept with Pod Desires. But you could excavate the top 3 cards. You pick which one you want, and then you shuffle the other 2 back in the deck. Being able to pick out whatever you need, like I said, helps with the consistency of this deck. But you can't special summon, and you only can activate 1 of these per turn. Outside the once per turn, you don't special summon as well. So that's why you play 2 of. Next, you play 1 Monarch Stormforth. It's pretty busted. Being able to tribute your opponent's monsters to tribute summon. It's so busted. That's why it's only at 1 in the TCG. I wish I could play 3. Then, like I said, so I don't have to use my monsters every time to tribute summon. But you only can play 1 of. That's it for the spells. You do play a high spell count, but like I said, the spells makes the deck very consistent. So you can play past 40 cards, and you can play up to 43 or 44. I want to keep it consistent at 40, but like I said, that's why you play a lot of spells. Now onto the traps. You play arguably the best trap, True King's Return. When this leaves the field, if you use it for tribute summon, you could destroy 1 monster. That's what the traps does. and it has two effects, but you cannot activate them in the same chain, to where you could target one true Draco and summon it in defense, like if it's in your graveyard. So it's a monster reborn on every turn, and this lets you tribute summon the opponent's turn. Like I said, it's a monster reborn and an escalation built in. That's why you play 3 of. Next, you play True Draco's Apocalypse. Like I said, I want to maximize playing the traps, because the traps destroy monsters if it leaves the field and sent to the graveyard. It's an escalation. Like I said, you contribute on your opponent's turn. And he has another effect where you can pop a True King or True Draco card on the field. And when it destroys, it cuts the opponent's attack in half. So being able to combo it with, let's say, your return, or more than likely you're gonna combo it with either, your heritage to pop back row for floodgates or disciples, depending on the situation. Next, you play one waterfall. This is in case let's say if you draw 2 enemy monsters, or if you have too many monsters at hand. Let's say you could just discard one, and then or discard any number of let's say your worm type monsters, which are all the True Draco monsters, or if you play True King monsters in the deck, that's what they are. You discard any of them, and then you draw up to the number you discard, and then you add +1. So let's say if you discard 3, then you could draw 3 plus 1 more. And also it has like a little rota effect, to where you could search for any worm type monster from your deck and add it to your hand. In case if they pop Diagram with the Ghost Ogre, or they'll banish it, you chain to this, and then like I said, you search for the monster. You can't search for the spells or traps, but like I said, it's a fallback option. Next, you play 2 Grisal Prison. This is better than Dimension Barrier, which I might bump up to 3, or I might just go get Dimension Barrier, because if you control a tribute summon monster, until the end of your opponent's next turn, they can't synchro or XYZ, and let's say if XYZ or synchro monsters on the field, they can't attack, and their effects are negated. So in case if they get Crystal Wing, let's say you flip this on them, they can't attack you, and like I said, their effects are negated, and plus they can't synchro for the next 2 turns. So like I said, this is better than Dimension Barrier. But Dimension Barrier is like a little versatile card, because it targets more than just XYZs and synchros. It also targets pendulums and fusion. So that's why Dimension Barrier is a little better. But it's also, like I said, it's better because, like I said, they can't sync. More than likely, they can't synchro or XYZ for 2 turns. Next, I play 1 Torrential Tribute. You want to have somewhat of a board wipe, in your deck. That's why I main Torrential Tribute. In case you have an empty field, or let's say if you have the Masterpiece that's unaffected by traps, you flip this, and like I said, it destroys all monsters on the field. So that's why I play 1 of. Next, you play 1 Imperial Order. You can't turn it off by tributing it for a True Draco monster. And like I said, even though you pay 700 during every standby phase, its effect is basically negate all spell spell cards that activates on the field. Like I said, it's a pretty busted card, good in the mirror, but like I said, you could turn it off by just tributing it away. And for the last cards I play, arguably the best card in this deck, 3 Monarchs Erupt. If you control a tribute summon monster, it's basically a skill drain. As long as you activate it, you have no extra cards and you control a tribute summon monster. So like I said, it's a skill drain across the board. And plus, let's say if it's your opponent's turn and they destroyed your tribute summon monster with Raigeki, skill drain applies because the fact that until the end of my turn, on the end phase of my turn, this card is still active. So like I said, even if, let's say, if I have, let's say, 2 of these, and a monster leaves the field, you could still tribute it off. And like I said, Monarchs Erupt is still active because, like I said, it's a skill drain as long as I could control a tribute summon monster. And plus, all my tribute monsters effects still go off because, like I said, it's a skill drain for everything else that's not tributed. So more than likely, they can play around this in the mirror match, or if they play True Draco Zoo. That's it for the deck. I do play 40 cards, but like I said, you'll deck thin so much to where maybe within turn 2 or turn 3, you'll wind up being left, like, let's say, you might have 15 cards in the deck. It's very consistent, very powerful. And like I said, going into Link Summoning, this deck will compete with Zoodiac. Now onto the side. My side needs a little work, but like I said, hopefully within very soon I could get the cards I need to make the side deck very very powerful. So I play 2 Ghost Ogres. It's good in the mirror, or if let's say if they activate a Zoodiac Barrage, it's very good as well. But like I said, the hand trap I really want to get is Ash Blossom because, like I said, it's busted in the mirror and it's good against Rogue, so they can't search or send cards to the graveyard. Next, you play board wipes in 2 Raigeki, 1 Raigeki, 2 Dark Holes. Like I said, you want to play board wipes against Zoo because the fact that it destroys everything, but more than likely opponents will play My Body as a shield. And like I said, they will burn My Body as a shield just so they can negate your board wipes. Unending Nightmare, good in the mirror or any floodgate, because once per chain you could pay 1,000 and you could destroy a face-up spell or trap on the field. So like I said, you could pop barrages or any floodgates that might hurt this deck. I play 1 Solemn Warning and the Solemn Brigade. Like I said, I want to put other cards in here, but for now I have the Solemn Brigade. Like I said, more Zoodiac hate. I play 2 Forbidden Chalice. Like I said, more effect negation in case your skill drains don't work. And it's a quick play because then you could change to let's say if it resolves, you could use this to pop the let's say the diagram to pop the chalice, because then you could chain. And for the last 2 cards I play 2 Monarchs Awaken. If, like I said, if I don't control an extra deck, I could target 1 face-up tribute summon monster. Its effects are negated, but for the fact that it's unaffected by any card effects. So like I said, it's pretty busted when you could, let's say, if you activate for Masterpiece or any tribute some monsters, if they're going to be Regeki or Darkhold or by Trident, you can chain this if you need to have one of your monsters stick on the board. So that's why I play this. That's it for the deck profile. Like I said, it's a very powerful, very consistent deck. Some of the cards like I would play in here, I would put in the side 3 Zappion, the Time Lord, because when it's summoned, you can normal summon it without tributing it. And when it attacks during the end phase, all their spells and traps get shuffled back in the deck. Being able to shuffle a bunch of cards, like let's say if they have like, you know, like certain like regular Mirror Force or a back row that could stop your plays, is so devastating. So it's like a giant true nade. And more likely it's good against Zoodiac because, like I said, Zappion, you know, summon the Zappion second turn. And if you have Regeki in the hand, you attack with the Zappion, shuffle the cards back in the deck because they probably have more than likely set My Body is a Shield or Zoodiac Gathering. Other cards, like I said, you can play. I could main Domain of the Monarchs because you could lock them out of the extra deck with that field spell, and plus it gives an attack, like 800 attack boost. So Masterpiece can be bumped up to 3750. Other cards, Ash Blossoms, like I said, is good for negating, like for searching and sending cards to the graveyard. I would like to also add Dimensional Barrier and Cosmic Cyclone because, like I said, Dimensional Barrier has a little more versatility than Grizzle Prison, and Cosmic Cyclone, like I said, is good in the mirror, or let's say if they activate a Zodiac Barrage or any Floodgate because it banishes, but you pay 1,000. Like I said, that's it for the deck profile. It's a very consistent, very powerful build going into Link Summoning because, like I said, you don't need an extra deck. So, rate, comment, tell me what other text I should put in, what I should take out. Like I said, I ain't afraid of harsh criticism because criticism helps me build this deck into making it better. I'm not saying this is a tier 0 deck, but like I said, it can stand up to Zoodiac, especially if you let Masterpiece stick on the board. Thanks for watching.